I might just pop it with Drizzy like what's free? Free is when nobody else can tell us what to be. Through all the fame, you know I stay true. But my niggas stay free. Made a few mistakes, but this ain't where I wanna be. Before I'm judged by 12, put a 12 on my feet.
In the land of the free where the blacks enslaved, 3/5 of a man, I believe's the phrase. 100% entitled to bust it up with my G's.
Hey.
Most my niggas won't ever work together. You run a checker, but they never give you leverage.
Hold on. Yeah, we gotta stop that. We gotta stop that. This is about to be a half an hour pause, so get ready.
Goat shit, man. Ain't that new?
In the land of the free, where the blacks enslaved, 3/5 a man, I believe that's the phrase, right? Now, I don't know the specifics of that exact law or that got passed, but what I do know, 3 out of 5 slaves were equal to 1 man. You know what I mean? Like, to a proficient man, it was 3 out of 5 slaves.
Yep.
He was like, I believe that's the phrase, right?
Right.
And he's like, I'm 50% Duce and debt free.
100% Ace of Spades worth half a B. Rock Nation, half of that. That's my piece. 100% entitled.
Ace of Spades.
100% entitled, man. I bust that down with my G's, man. I split it up with my folk. So it's interesting that he starts the verse by saying, in the land of the free, where blacks were enslaved, right? In the land of the free, where blacks were enslaved, right? So he's giving you this historical perspective, but why is he doing that?
Right.
3/5 a man, I believe, the phrase. So he starts to go down. Then he fast forwards to 2018, him owning an empire, essentially, right?
You want to talk percentages?
Right.
Let's talk
if
percentages.
we don't talk percentages, let's talk percentages, right? And I think Jay is just trying to put you into the mindset of what that feels like, what being free feels like, what that looks like. So he's saying that not only to stunt, but maybe he's saying that also for inspiration. You know what I mean? This is what it looks like, guys. You know what I mean? This is what you want to be. You want to be independent. You want to own multiple things, right? You want to have multiple streams of income.
Right.
You want to own an empire. That's what's being free. Is how I'm taking it so far. And then he said, since most of my niggas won't ever work together, you run a checkup, but they never give you leverage. That was hard. So what he's saying is, man, there's a division within the black community, right?
Yep.
Since most of my niggas won't ever work together, we never come together to try to build anything.
But we'll spend money.
We'll spend money, run a checkup.
Yeah.
You spend money in all these stores, Gucci, Louis Vuitton. You spend money outside of your community. You don't put it back into your community. And they'll never give you leverage. They'll let you spend their money in their stores, buy their products.
And it gives them leverage.
It gives them leverage, right?
Yep.
So already, man, Jay's taking this pretty deep.
Yeah,
He's
man.
giving us some layers to peel back, but fire so far. Let's keep it going.
No red hat, don't Michael and Prince me and Ye. They separate you when you got Michael and Prince's DNA. I ain't one of these house niggas you bought to my spot. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. Yo, we can keep stopping it. We can keep stopping it, though.
Him, what?
We can keep stopping it, though.
No red hat, don't Michael and Prince me and Ye. He was they separate you when you got Michael and Prince DNA.
That was fire.
That's hard. That is
Fire.
You remember that, right? It almost seemed like there was kind of like this unspoken beef between Michael and Prince. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't seem to like each other. From what I remember.
Because they were both iconic, right? In their own right, right? And it seemed like there was that unspoken kind of beef to kind of separate them, you know?
Yeah, you know how the media does, man. You know what I mean? Who's the king of this and the king of that? And sometimes they have the tendency to pit these mega stars against each other. They try to do the same thing with Rihanna, Beyonce. You see what's happening with Nicki Minaj and Cardi B.
Yep.
You know how they fan the flame, or they try to create something really that's out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he said specifically, no red hat, don't Michael and Prince me and Ye. You know what I mean? So we all know what's going on with Kanye wearing the MAGA hat and all that. But even though that's not what Jay is on, wearing that hat.
He said, don't separate us.
You can't separate us, right? They try to separate you when you got Michael and Prince's DNA, when you have the DNA of legends, right?
Yep.
You come from that cloth.
Absolutely.
You guys are big stars in your own right. Jay and Kanye are big stars in their own right. We come from that. We have that DNA. But you can't separate us regardless of our differences in maybe what we believe in politics. You know what I mean? Because the bigger picture is, man, that's still my brother. And I think they both want the same thing. They're just going about it different ways. They may have different viewpoints on how to get to this destination, right? They both want, people that look like them to succeed. It's not like that. I've heard that from Ye, regardless of what you think of his political views. So you can't separate that. So I thought that was really, really brilliant.
And then I love the little like fly shit that he hit us out with the end of that scheme. He was on, my house is like a resort. My house bigger than yours. He's on, my spouse. Come on, man. So Beyonce, come on, man. That ain't even, we don't even need to talk about that. It's not even a comparison, And
he said, I'm not one of them house niggas, right? That's an old slave term, being a house nigga. You can't buy me. I'm independent. I'm my own empire, right? My house is like a resort. My house is bigger than yours. Like, you can't look at me as less than or inferior. You can't look at that. I'm doing more than you're doing.
And he can't be bought because I got more shit than you got. You know.
But nonetheless, man, some very thought-provoking, real shit.
This is good stuff
that he's talking about. Let's keep it going.
They gave us pork and pig intestines. Shit you discarded that we ingested. We made the project a way. You came back, reinvested.
Yo, that's it. Fuck out of here, man. I'm trying to tell these kids, man. Man, just go ahead, Ryan. Right.
They gave us pork and pig intestines. The shit you discarded, right? That we ingested. We made the project a wave. You came back, reinvested, and gentrified. Godly.
Man.
So, I mean,
real shit in there.
Super real.
A lot of heavy lines in there.
Golly, man. Pork and pig intestines is chitlins, right? That was a food that slaves actually tried to make taste better because it was slop. It was the leftovers.
Scraps.
Yeah, it was, you know? And
it's the shitty part of the pig.
Exactly. And that I think is a prime example of taking lemons and making lemonade, right? You know what I mean? You
making something out of nothing.
Exactly.
You came back, made the project a wave. You came back, reinvested, and gentrified it. Took niggas' sense of pride, because there's a sense of pride that comes with being from these areas, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of amazing things, a lot of amazing people, very talented people. A lot of culture comes from these environments. So eventually, it was cool as a stamp, right? Yep. It was sort of a cool factor that comes with coming from these areas, right?
And they're like, man,
and you're taking that.
Yep, we can take that and make money off
by gentrifying it, right? Putting plazas and Starbucks in those areas,
condos, and all that.
You're removing the culture. The pride is gone. The soul is gone.
Yep.
Right. So how is that free? These areas. We'll use Brooklyn as an example. Brooklyn, even Harlem too, man. New York, a lot, all around the country, really. When we're talking about gentrification, man, these areas historically are culturally rich. They're world renowned for their cultural influence, right? A lot of amazing things, a lot of amazing people come from these areas, man. We can talk about the Harlem Renaissance, a lot of history, and that's valuable, right? It is. It's very valuable, right? And it's an allure that's associated with these areas, right? So these corporations see that. It's an opportunity for me to buy out these areas,
and they can capitalize
off of the culture that created these areas and made these areas desirable to some degree. And run out the people who created it, right? Who created that allure. So essentially, how is that free? So the culture is not even free. The soul is being taken. The essence of the culture is being taken. You can't get anything.
Nothing's protected.
You make this. You have the scraps. Bad enough you get the scraps. We make the scraps into something. You take that essentially is what he's saying. So that was a very, very. Now there's more to it, guys. To be honest with you, to gentrification and all that. We're not saying we're taking a stance. But there is truth in that. There is truth in that. I mean, there's different sides of the coin. You can look at gentrification in different ways as well. Absolutely. And how it can improve certain areas.
So we're not trying to start a freaking political conversation on that.
We're not. But there is something to be said for that, though.
And the artistry of the way he said that is
beautifully written. Beautifully written. Let's keep it going.
And them people stole the song and hit niggas with 360s. We was praising Billboard, but we were young. Now I look at Billboard like, is you dumb? They gonna have to kill me, grandmama, I'm not their slave. Look at my hair free, carefree. Niggas ain't near free. Enjoy your change. What's your employer name with the hairpiece? Feel away to this day, you would say, y'all kill me.
Hold on! Hold on! Jay is losing his mind on this one. This is an incredible verse to me. He's talking about the music industry now. People getting hit with 360 contracts, right?
Crazy contracts.
360 contract is when they basically take a piece of pretty much almost anything you do, man. Whether it be your touring, your merch, obviously your album sales, everything 360. Anything concerning your music, they basically owe you everything. 360, right?
Yep.
I got 1 billion streams, got $1 billion, inflate numbers like we supposed to be happy about this.
Yeah, and
that was hard.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know much about how you get paid with the streaming game, but the way I'm interpreting this, he's like, man, I don't have 1 billion streams, but the company got $1 billion off me though. You know what I mean? You made a lot of money off me, and all these inflated numbers to try to make a little bit of money. How are you supposed to make any? How are you supposed to be happy about that? How can you make any money?
So it's playing off the whole, people from the urban community, black culture, getting scraps and making those scraps and making lemons out of lemonade, right? Making something out of these scraps. He's saying the same thing's happening in music. You're essentially getting the scraps of the bigger piece of the pie. When you're the artist,
absolutely.
Right?
You're supposed to be getting the lion's share, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be getting at least half, 50-50.
There is nothing without the artist. You know what I'm saying? There is no music, right?
Yeah.
So we were praising Billboard, but we were young. Now look at Billboard like, is you dumb? So just because you got a couple records on a Billboard, that doesn't mean that you're making money off
Correct.
that. Right?
And most of the time, it doesn't mean that you're making money. It means that you're not making money at all.
Right, depending on how your contracts are set up and whatnot. So shout out to Jay, man. He's just going in, man. And I think that for someone of his stature, it's good for someone of his stature at this point because Jay, and I wish Floyd Mayweather would take this approach, like he's won.
Yes, absolutely.
He's won. Now, the only thing that he should be doing at this point in his life, not should be, I don't want to say try to tell the man how to run his life or what to do. But it's great when someone who has just made it, like essentially the epitome of making it, and just doing it at the level he's driven every car, flown every plane, traveled to every major amazing island that there is on this fucking planet.
That's so true.
Now it's time for him to reach back and drop jewels, give back, and school the youth, right? Yep. And try to change things, try to make things happen. I think that's what Jay's been doing, man. A lot of what him and B do.
Yep.
I think is really to help the culture out. You know what I mean? Tidal, at least he's trying with Tidal, with trying to give larger percentages of streams to his artists. He's trying to take control of the art form that he's saying was stolen. You know what I mean? By these corporations that don't know anything about it. They don't have the soul.
Yep.
So I think that's just dope. And that's what I'm getting out of all this as well.
All of that.
And there's other things in here that we could touch on, man. The CCE copy line was hard.
That was
we could
hard.
really keep going breaking this down, but it's just, Jesus. Let's keep it going.
No shucking me, I don't jive turkey. Say happy Thanksgiving, shit sound like a murder to me. Smoke free, all of y'all calling out toll free. You lay a hand on hold my shooter, shoot for free. I promise World War.
That was an incredible verse.
It was,
he
dude.
left early.
Yeah, he sure
on
did.
that verse, man. God.
Sucker free, no shucking me. I don't jive turkey. Say happy Thanksgiving shit sound like a murder to me. God,
no shucking and jiving over here is what he's saying, right? I'm not. And he said before that, I think he had mentioned that he's like, I'm not your slave. You can't make me, so you can't control me. Essentially, is what he's saying. Smoke free. All of y'all calling out toll free. Label rob you for millions that you want to put a hole in me. And I mean, by him saying a hole in me, he can mean that figuratively as well. Like you're trying to tear me down, me, when I have your back. And these labels, and you're signed to a label that's robbing you for all this money. And people want to talk shit about Tidal and talk shit about things that he's doing for the culture.
That's true.
And you want to tear me down? You want to come at me? Then he said sugar-free seasoned, but I'm salt-free. That was slick. I'm seasoned, baby. I'm like a fine wine, but I'm salt-free, man. Ain't no saltiness over here.
He ain't mad about nothing. You know what I'm saying? No hating, no hatred at all.
Yeah, I ain't sweet either. He said sugar-free. I ain't sweet. Seasoned, but I'm salt-free. That was slick.
That was smooth.
You know what I'm saying?
That was smooth little...
Yeah, it was crazy.
Smooth line.
Yeah, you lay a hand on hold my shooter, shoot for free. I promise World War III.
Yeah, boy.
You try to assassinate me because he mentioned the grandma shit up top, right? He was saying, "Grandma,
I'm not their slave. Yeah.
I'm not their slave." So essentially, people that's trying to come at him from speaking the truth, for talking about real things, right? Every time it seems like someone of a certain stature, in the black community historically, has spoken up, they've been assassinated. So you send somebody at me, it's gonna be World War III is what he's saying. Just destruction on this entire verse, man.
Crazy.
Unbelievable verse by Jay-Z. Wow.
Yeah, and I gotta go back to that happy Thanksgiving line, man.
Oh yeah, that was
when he said the shit sounds like a murder to me, obviously with the
factory.
Yeah, dude, that was facts, right? That was like a massacre. Thanksgiving was a massacre, right?
So he's saying, say happy Thanksgiving, shit sound like a murder to me.
Like,
you can't pull the wool over my eyes.
It's an illusion.
You know what I'm saying? So just real. So I love the depth and the layers in this verse, man, and how he's tying in, a lot of history into this as well.
Big time.
Right? So he's talking about slavery, slaves were given scraps. And essentially he's saying, you're still getting scraps, right?
Yep.
If you're using the music industry as an example, right? Using his realm, the artists are getting the scraps, right? The labels are taking over and everything. They're making billions of dollars and giving you nothing, giving you scraps and making it seem like putting you on Billboard.
Yep.
Say, here's your Billboard award, but you're not getting the money, right? For the hard work and the artistry that you've put towards, making all this money. You're getting the scraps.
Yep.
So I love how he tied that all together, intertwined that, and made one of the greatest verses I've heard in a long time.
Crazy, man, crazy. And shout out to everybody that was on the track. Shout out to Meek. Shout out to Ross. But Jay-Z just shined so hard on this track.
Oh yeah.
And they couldn't have and they couldn't have picked a better person to put on this track to finish it out. And it really gives you perspective of the theme of the whole song, right? And Freeney kind of went into gentrification,
all that
kind of stuff.
There's so much in here.
It's crazy, dude.
And to me, even bringing up that, going back to the percentage thing, man, having an independent mind state, like he said in here, I'm not your slave. I've made it, right?
Yep.
Now it's time for me to reach back. Now it's time for me to pull the curtain back and show y'all what's going on out here. You know what I mean? Because I'm 100% of Ace of Spades worth half a B, right? I'm the example.
Yep. This is a work of art, man.
It really is an amazing verse. I mean, the song's titled "What's Free," right? So what's free? Meek attacked this song from just dealing with the justice system and how there's corruption in it. Maybe there's definitely room for improvement there, right? All these gentlemen had different perspectives on what's free, right, as it relates to things that are happening in this country, man.
Yep.
And Jay-Z used a historical perspective. You know, he touched on gentrification. He touched on what's happening now with the record industry and how the streaming game works. Rick Ross is just on his boss shit. You know what I'm saying? From a boss perspective, like, I'm free. You know? So, you know what I'm saying? I'm free from all that shit because I'm my own boss.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know.
But it was a brilliant verse by Jay.
Oh, dude.
I enjoyed the beat. Still, the original is what I really love. But bottom line is the beat was cool.
Yeah.
Meek did his thing as well, man. Great song to me.
It was great.
Great song, man.
And great introduction to this Championships album that's coming out.
Yes, sir. Factory. All right, guys, so that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And also, guys, check out our Patreon channel. If you're interested, the link will be in the description. It will allow you to get early access to our content. I'm George. That's Ryan, Las Vegas.
We out.